Hey everybody, Greg here of the AVG G YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to be making a vanilla cake and a cream cheese frosting, both from scratch. So these are all the ingredients I'll be using today. Couple things of note would be cake flour is needed for the recipe, and sour cream. Need those kind of ingredients I'm not familiar with at all as far as baking goes. So the recipe I found online, I will link it in the description here. One of the things I know about baking and cooking in general is you don't always have to follow recipes exactly, whether they're family recipes or ones you find online. Usually you can adjust some sort of part of the recipe to be more what you like, or to adjust for the ingredients you do or don't have. This recipe called for a vanilla bean, and I did not find a vanilla bean. Oh my god, I did it again. I did not find a vanilla bean at the grocery store, so the recipe order already calls for vanilla extract, so this might not turn out as vanilla-y as the recipe should, but I think we'll be okay. So that was 1 cup of sugar, and then this is 1 3/4 cups of that baking flour. So using a 1/4 cup, I'm going to do 7 scoops here. 3. Now that I got some of the flour out, one of the things about measuring flour is that it sets. So sometimes a scoop isn't going to be the full scoop. Once you get some of the flour out, what you can do is kind of fill up your cup and then use the side of the box to fill it up, or to smooth it out and make sure that's a packed cup of flour there. So, 7 scoops. If that wasn't 7 scoops, the recipe is ruined, and wow. Just kidding, that was 7 scoops. I'm really good at counting. If I'm wrong, whoops. Okay, so it calls for baking soda and baking powder. Looks like 1.5 teaspoons. One. Got the 1/2 teaspoon, so we're going to do 3 scoops of this baking powder here. Right? Yeah, 1.5. Okay. Baking is a lot like woodworking or carpentry or whatever you want to call it. Measure twice, cut once. It's hard to take some of this stuff out once it's in, so you always want to be double checking your ingredients and make sure you're doing the right amounts, because it's pretty hard to take that out of baking soda. Okay, those are done. Get those out of here. We're gonna mix these up. The recipe says to use a stand mixer. If you are like me and you just want to get into baking, chances are you don't own a stand mixer. For mixing this powder, I'll just use a rubber spatula. When it gets a little bit more liquidy, we'll move to a whisk. The batter should turn out pretty thin from what the recipe says, so alright, that's good. We got a mess going here, but that's okay. As for soft butter, my trick is to just microwave the butter to make it easier to mix. Alright, salted versus unsalted butter. I can tell you. 1/4 cup. Nice thing about butter is it always has these pre-portions here, so 1/4 cup is going to be a 1/2 cup here, or half a stick. Okay. Oh, and that completely liquefied our butter. Let's see how this turns out. So yeah, that's one of the disadvantages of not owning a mixer, is that some things like this are definitely gonna not turn out just like the recipe calls for. But we're gonna mix it here until, oh man. Oh. I think that's gonna have to do. I'm gonna set this to the side here. Take this bowl, and we're gonna add. Gotta make sure we get the shells out of there. You should crack each egg individually into a separate bowl or container to make sure they're not rotten. To be honest, I never really do that anyway until I actually get a rotten egg, and then I probably will. So 1/3 cup, 2 eggs, 1/3 cup full fat sour cream, 1/4 cup oil, and then we got one, if I can get it open, alright, good enough, 1 tablespoon vanilla extract. Alright, to mix this, we're going to use a fork. Okay, it says blend till smooth. That looks pretty smooth to me. And then we're going to add the egg mixture to the flour mixture and beat on medium speed until combined. Be sure to scrape down the sides of the mixture as needed to make sure everything is incorporated into the batter. Okay. Alright, I'll try not to get my shadow in the shot for the whole time. Always make sure you are scraping your bowls. Don't want to lose half your mixture to negligence. Basically, we're just going to mix until this thing looks kind of consistent. This will take some time. I'm already thinking that a lot of this mixing is just going to be kind of sped up. Okay, everything is incorporated into the batter, it looks like. Slowly add milk and mix on low speed. The batter will be liquid. Okay. So 2/3 cup of milk. We're gonna slowly add that. Probably add it splash by splash. Call that 2/3 of a full cup. Splash, splash, splash. should have done this earlier, but we're gonna turn on the oven to 350. So as you can see, there's a pretty solid mixture there, but as we can tell on the back of the ladle here, or the rubber spatula, we still got quite a bit of clumps that aren't going away after mixing. So we're gonna bring out the whisk here. Whisk this for a couple minutes, and then go ahead and throw it in the oven. Still not seeing the break open, so I like. I feel like this is one of the recipes we can overbeat it. Typically, the more you work, the better. The denser it's gonna be. So we're just gonna call that good. Otherwise, we're just gonna have a really dense cake, as it is. So this is the only time I bring out cooking spray. This is the only time I use any kind of non-stick, is baking these cakes here. A good coating on the pan here. One of the ways you can tell that the cake is done is by its separation from the pan. So we're gonna slowly just distribute the batter over the tray here and try to get it as even as possible. Do not neglect the sides and the corners. Yeah, this is kind of a chunky batter. Not the worst thing in the world. Not the best either. Once again, we're going to scrape out our bowl. Make sure we get all the batter we can out here. Okay. And then we're just going to go ahead and get our cake into the oven here. The timer says to bake for about... Okay. So this recipe does call to bake for 20 minutes, but that's within 2 8-inch round pans. So we're gonna go with 17 minutes and check on the cake then. Okay, so the cake is in the oven. We're gonna set a timer for 17 minutes here. There we go. I just figured out how to use my timer. So while that's baking, we're gonna go ahead and start making the icing and probably doing some dishes along the way. Okay. Okay, so for making the icing, it says to mix a stick of butter, a cup of butter, or wait, half cup of butter. Yeah, half cup of butter and cream cheese, 8 ounces cream cheese together. We're gonna microwave butter for 30 seconds again. Oh my god. Just kidding, you can use your microwave and the timer at the same time. So we're gonna microwave half cup of butter here. We'll just give it. Don't mind me, I'm just struggling to open cream cheese. So I'm assuming I probably should have done this in a larger bowl. This might have been the wrong way. Okay. This is actually the worst. Oh, God. Okay, that's too small of a freaking bowl to add the sugar. We're gonna get a bigger bowl here. Alright, so we got the cream cheese butter mixture in the bowl, and now we're going to get 3 cups of confectioner's sugar. Not really sure how much icing this is actually gonna make. This is also probably a horrible way to do this. So one. Oh. Okay. So now we're gonna mix this together. Oh my god! It said to mix fast and then slow, and it's one of those times I'm really wishing I wore an apron. Okay. Well, it looks like my timer went away. So we're just gonna have to keep an eye on the cake. I want to starting to look closer across it. What's this? Okay, start for you. I almost forgot to add the vanilla and salt. Taste test says good. Okay, so icing's done. Gonna clean up for a little bit. My timer went away on my cake. It's a little distressing. So we're just gonna have to keep checking in on the cake visually. You don't want to open up the oven too many times. See you on the other side when the oven's coming out, or the oven's coming out. The cake's coming out of the oven. All right. Well, pulling it out of the oven, as you can see, there's kind of a gap here between the side of the cake and the pan. Another way we're able to test to see if the cake is done is if we put a toothpick in and it comes out clean like so. Then we know the cake is done. So, cake's done. I did feel a little dry, kind of putting in the toothpick, but the bake looks really good, only getting a little brown on top. One of the problems you'll have with frosting a cake is often the icing tearing the top part of the cake. So we're just gonna get a good amount of icing down before we start spreading. That way we can hopefully avoid much tearing up the top. And we'll just gently move some icing around. The tearing generally comes from lifting up spoon here. Probably don't worry about it, especially. Looks like it's going pretty well there. Gave me a little scare for a second. Looks like we need actually all this icing. No tears, very good. I'll just smooth out here. Yeah, check myself. I'll stand some of this getting. Wait, it's okay. Okay. Cake. It's good. There you have it. Cake made from scratch. I will try and get a picture of it after it's cut. See how it looks. Try and have a slice. Give it a review. But yeah, thanks for watching me make a cake. Go ahead and try your own recipes. Alright, bye. Got a couple pictures of the cake here. Cake did turn out a little dense and had a couple clumps in the butter, but tasted pretty good overall. Just wanted to dedicate this video and this cake to my Uncle George, who has recently passed. And hope everyone's family is doing well in this holiday season. And thanks for watching the video. All right, have a great day and see you next time.